Hello, and welcome to our Creator Camp show. I think episode 5. We are flying through those, and we're so excited to have you here with us today. Good afternoon, good day, good time zone to you. We're so excited. My name is Snack. I work on community engagement at Twitch. I work on all things Creator Camp, so you might see me in the Creator Camp sessions at TwitchCon, on our show, of course, and I also curate and create all of the content you see on our website. And I'm so excited to welcome you to our show and introduce my co-host, Owenge Juice, also lover of fruit. Welcome to our stream. Please feel free to introduce yourself to everyone. Owen, I don't think we can hear you. We were mucking around with our settings. There you are. At first I thought it was me.
And that is why today we're going to be talking about audio and why it's so important. What a seamless segue. Hi everybody,
Perfect.
I'm OwengeJuiceTV. I'm a hardcore Minecraft streamer and also a Twitch ambassador, and clearly a massive professional. A long-time lover of the Creator Camp series, so very excited to be back once again to jump in on this.
Amazing. Welcome. Honestly, I thought it was me. And that's just goes to show you that even seasoned professionals, we definitely have our own hiccups, and we're here to talk about them. Also, I mean, I have done that before. I've also had this thing where I've gone live and I checked my audio on one OBS scene, and then I cannot explain this, and then switch the scenes, and then the audio wasn't working. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I was like, I don't even know how that's possible. But chat, it is possible. It is possible, and we're here to talk about that. Actually, though, for real, I feel that in my soul. So welcome to Creator Camp. This is our educational interactive monthly show where we teach you all about streaming essentials. You'll learn about content creation, community building, technical aspects, monetization, and more. And so whether you've been streaming for a few years, a few days, or a few months, we are here to share some tips and tricks that you can take away. Now, this is the most exciting thing. I am so excited to tell you that Creator Camp has received a complete update to all of its level 1 content. I've been working on this for the past several months, and it is now. This is also kind of like, it's a secret. It is in fact live, but no one's going to know that until next week when we share it across Twitch socials. So if you want a jump start on improving your stream and checking things out, you can check it out right now today on Creator Camp, and it's full of lots of goodies. We have everything from a new section on content categories, so that has IRL, just chatting, fitness and health, food and drink, music and DJs, details on all of these fun things, and even some tips and tricks for monetization. So please take a moment to check it out and let me know what you think. I'm eager and ready to hear all your thoughts on that. Moving ahead to today's show. Today's show is specifically about leveling up the quality of your streams. We're going to talk about why audio is essential to the success of your stream, things that you can think about when talking about your video and thinking about that, and how to tie them both together to pose a layout that's awesome. So whatever stage you're at, we're here to give you tips, tricks, and ideas for successful streams. And remember that this is an interactive stream, so we do offer time for Q&A at the end of stream. So please feel free to ask lots of questions, and we will do our best to work through as many of them as possible. I know I see Follow Zone in the chat like this with audio. We feel it, especially today. We totally feel it. So that's the perfect segue into our section on audio. So audio is an absolutely crucial component of streaming. High quality audio captivates audiences, often even more effectively than visual elements. I don't know if you've ever seen this in your chat when it's scrolling and it shows if people have like just the video on or just the audio on. I often see a lot of times like some people will pop in a stream when they're driving home and just have the audio on. And that's enough to keep someone in your stream. So it's definitely something to think about and keep a priority on. Owen, let's talk about audio. Why is audio so important? What stands out to you when you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as we were seeing earlier, it's one of the most pivotal ways that we can get any of the information regarding the stream. I mean, there's a reason why podcasts are so popular and the alternative visual casts where there's no audio and just visuals haven't really taken off in the same way. We derive pretty much most of the context of what's happening on stream through the audio. And as such, in many ways, it's actually more important to be focusing on the audio of your broadcast over the visual aspect, or at least that's what should come first. There is a plethora of different microphones that you could be using. We're going to be looking into maybe a couple of different concepts of how you can approach bettering your audio, but essentially making sure that your levels are balanced, your mic, your alerts, your music, your in-game sound volumes. There's a lot of different things that you can juggle, and taking the opportunity before you start stream to using your broadcasting studio to kind of figure out where those levels are is one of the most important things you can do before you start. Because with poor audio, you're probably going to be driving people away.
Yeah, and just poor Owenge getting roasted by Twitch in the chat here. You know, I just want you to know that we indeed did check our audio levels, and this is just a new thing. Okay, this is how we're going to start the stream. Next time, maybe I'll be muted. Okay, we'll just keep working our way through it. I totally agree on all those points. Audio is a huge part of connecting with people and a great opportunity for you to enhance your connection with stream, which is kind of what we were just talking about. And enhancing connection through voice, music, and sound effects can really enhance the amount of immersive experiences that your chat's having. Do you have any sound effects in your stream, Owen, that sound out? Or like, I know you have a puppet, so you change your voice for that as well. But like, how do you use connection to enhance your audio?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned the puppet. He's now going to have been shown twice here in Creator Camp. But he has a specific sound bite, a certain piece of music. I have a soundboard that I can cue it up now. I won't for reasons, but basically whenever he comes out, that's the music that starts playing. So having segments of your stream which are dictated or ran through with certain audios allows for people to build up that kind of pattern recognition of like, oh, I understand the kind of vibes that we're going to be entering into here. Music is also a really big way that we do a lot of storytelling in the Minecraft space. So we actually curate, Power Creations, the S&P production company I work with, curates with the cast a bunch of Spotify playlists that have different vibes, so that while we're live, kind of all role-playing and random things could be happening, we have playlists that we can start which have completely different themes, so like serious or upbeat or sad. So having those kind of assets that you can dip into to pace the mood that you're going through for stream is a really big part of it.
That's a great call out and a great way to enhance connection through audio. We also have a few other reasons why we should think about audio and why it's important, including engagement. Viewers being able to clearly and easily understand you and your content is absolutely huge. Poor audio can be really distracting and frustrating for viewers to follow along. Even when your favorite streamer is live, if it's hard to understand them or hear them, it can make it hard to, want to stick around. And kind of coinciding with that a little bit is credibility. If you're trying to pitch your content to someone, or, you want to have a sponsored stream, or you want to turn this content into clips, being able to understand and clearly hear what's going on makes your content come across as more professional and also trustworthy. And then for the last reason why, for accessibility, I'll toss that back to Owen, because I know that's a big part of their stream and something that people really look for when they come to your stream.
Yes. Are you talking about the extension for captions?
Accessibility.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
That's exactly it. You got it.
Yeah, maybe I think like a year ago we started looking into extensions, or specifically how to get captions while live. And sure enough, Twitch has tools that are available. If you haven't checked it out, go to the creator dashboard. There's a search bar at the top. If you just type in Twitch extensions or just extensions, there is so many different things that you can add onto your stream for a bunch of different stuff. A lot of them even related to video games, such as King of the Castle. You can like have an overlay for the game that you're playing that chat can join in on. But specifically, we use something called ultimate captions or ultimate closed captions, which is a simple plug and play captioning system that allows people to have an overlay when they're viewing the stream, and chat always remind me right from the top of the turn order to turn that on, so that people, even if they don't have audio, can still enjoy the stream.
Oh, that's so great. I love to hear that. Accessibility is definitely huge as well. And we want people who come to your stream want to see your stream. Sometimes I think we forget that, like, people are coming because they like you, they like your content, and they want to participate in it. And that's one way that we can increase their ability to be a part of it all. Let's talk a little bit about improving audio. Something that we should preface by before we dive into audio, video, and all of these things is that we recognize that when you first start streaming, you may not have access to the newest, greatest technology, and I certainly didn't. A lot of you have heard my story about how I started streaming on a PlayStation 4 camera, and then also on a like grungy gamer laptop that I like bought off of someone. So, you know, we all start from different spaces and places, but let's talk about like where and how, you know, we can improve audio, right? I know Owen mentioned overall sound. You know, watching your VOD and then hearing it all together is really important, whether that's your voice combined with someone else's in maybe Discord, with your alerts, with the game volume. I also like to check especially when I like pick up a new game or I bring someone in, I'm like, how does this sound? Like, can you hear me? How are the alerts? Is the music overwhelming something? You know, like what's going on and how can I improve that experience for you? And Owen, can you talk a little bit about where in the settings, like what would you recommend somebody check out in their settings if they wanted to enhance or improve their audio?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got some easy wins you can look into. You can add some gain in order to increase the volume of your microphone or the input that you're giving it. Noise suppression, so you can add a threshold so that people who are crashing around in the background, if you're not speaking, then that's not being picked up. Compression is another great one in order to be able to even out all of the audios. If none of these things, these are all like jargon words, give them a quick Google. It's a very simple concept once you have it under your belt. Another one that is really helpful, specifically that we use in Juice Cafe, is called ducking. So on OBS, you can set your mic input to basically cause other audio inputs to go down. So if I have music being played and I start talking, the music volume is already like automatically lowered. That is easier if you have something like a music deck or like a soundboard that allows you to change the channels. You're going to have a little bit of a harder time if you're using something like a USB microphone, which you have to just plug and play, but you are able to get kind of virtual soundboards and mixers that will be able to help you do that. There's tons of help online, but those are 4 easy kind of settings that you can look into. I would strongly recommend the ducking.
Yeah, that's a great call out. That's an awesome asset that you can add in to kind of improve things and just, you know, level up that audio, right? Take what you have and improve it. And don't feel like you have to buy the next mic every time it comes out or feel like everyone around you has the newest, best thing. Work with what you have and improve as you go. Yeah, exactly. We can take little steps as we go. And just think about audio as an engagement tool. So the last thing we talked about why we should care about audio, where we can improve that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how can we use audio as an engagement tool. Audio can be used in streams to really increase immersion. We can do that with different voices. I know for Owen, that is bringing out another character. For me, that is wrapping the 3D shape wrap, which I do not care to do, but I will do for my community when they redeem it. Just like changing things up, right? You know, especially like I find when we were playing scary games in my stream that it makes me whisper, and so it like really draws people in until then it causes me to scream. And so it's like quite the jump scare, but great for entertainment purposes. I know Owen talked a little bit about music setting the mood. I also love to set the mood, especially when we're starting stream. Like, what's the vibe? Is it like pop music? Are we bouncing around? Is it like quiet music? Just a side note to only play music that you are licensed to do so with, and be careful, be aware and be careful when you are playing music on stream. What about, let's talk a little bit about alerts. Do you have any, like what kind of sound bites do you use with any of your alerts? Do you have any that you utilize for certain things, certain times?
The Juice Cafe chat is in the chat right now telling me to talk about the Dono sound alert that we have, where if you give 555 dollars or whatever kind of donation system you want to do, it will do a creeper sound effect, which in Minecraft is a way that I've lost my hardcore worlds many a time. And they really try and queue it up. Dally specifically has recently tried to queue it up many times when I've been trying to lock in on something. So you can use those kind of alerts to scare you. A lot of good fun. Somebody who I would recommend, and I'll leave as an exercise to the viewer, a fellow ambassador called Orion Sound uses audio in ways that I've never seen anybody even come close to.
Really?
He has got a massive stream deck full of a bunch of different sound effects, and the way that his mind is able to incorporate all of the different audio cues that he has. He also has ones for visuals. He's the only person I know who has stream decks for his like feet. He has the paddles that allows him to like hit things. So he's using every potential asset that he has, but would strongly recommend checking out Ollie. You actually will see him in a bit of the creator camp stuff as well.
Yes, speaking of Ollie, I have a funny, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it does have to do with creepers, and this is very funny. So I needed an image I could put on this new creator camp update under the gaming section, and I had a bunch of clips, and I was trying to figure out like which one I was going to put in, and I actually ended up settling on the Ryan Sound on Ollie. And it's so funny you should bring up creepers, because it is this clip, it's in a GIF form, so you can't actually hear him, but you can see, and he's dragging a llama up this waterfall to this area that he's created, and he's telling the llama how much it's going to love it there and how beautiful its new home is and how excited he is. And he gets right to the top of it, and then all of a sudden, like right in the corner of the peripheral, there's a creeper, and it blows them up and kills them both. And it was so sad. I couldn't believe it. And that's exactly like, your poor llama. Oh my gosh, I would be so sad.
I've seen a couple of people, while we're still on the topic of audio, that you are absolutely, if you have something that works for you, you're obviously welcome to say like, hey, you guys should go and get this specific piece of technology or whatever. You can see that I'm using a microphone that a lot of streamers will have routinely used. It's kind of seen by many as like the thing that you have to get. There is the barrier to entry for audio, and especially for streaming, is incredibly low. And I built my kingdom, if you want to call it that, or I essentially built my entire platform on a very tinny Turtle Beach headset, which I still have. It's archived somewhere under my bed. You can go back now that Twitch has got the highlight. They have the highlight feature. You can go on my channel, go right back to the beginning, and hear what my audio sounded like when I first started streaming. So while we say that, you know, it's one of the first things that you should focus on, by no means do you need to shell out for a Go XLR paired with a Shure SM7B, mixed with a bunch of other different things, and get like the best preamp that you possibly can. Like, all of this stuff is things that you can build later down the line as you grow your Twitch platform. But for the most part, you can start on anything just to kind of like get going. But by no means do you have to start on like the top shelf of the tech.
Yep, 100%. Start with what you have and use it, and grow as you go. That's like the name of the game, honestly. Grow as you go, as you grow, and don't feel like you have to buy everything kind of at once. And yeah, using sound bites to have special alerts is a great way to enhance engagement and kind of perk up viewers. You know, like maybe we're not like totally engaged in like what's going on. It's also a great way to scare the bejesus out of them if you're doing a scary stream, and then you want the alerts to also scare them and scare yourself. It's awesome. It's great. There's many ways to bring the life into your stream and just spice things up. It's a really fun way to change what you've got going on. And I know I already said this, but always remember to check out those clips, check out those VODs, and just make sure everything sounds the way you want it to, even if that is blowing off their eardrums with jump scares. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, let's switch a little bit into our next conversation, which is about video, which I'm very excited to dive into and talk about. High quality video setup and stream quality are essential for engaging viewers and providing positive viewing experiences for your community. We're going to talk about the why. So why is video important? I'm going to preface this by saying that video doesn't just mean your camera. Okay, so we're really talking about like visuals as a whole here, and part of that is your camera. So one of the reasons why video is important is for retention. Poor quality resolution or buffering can really frustrate and drive viewers away, right? So you might have your camera up and your stream up, but if the whole thing's buffering or the bit rate isn't set right, that can really be a distractor. And I'm sure you've all stumbled upon a stream that isn't easy to watch. It's really difficult. Not only can you not hear them, but you can't see them clearly. And I think the other part of this is, while it's great to let streamers know what's going on, that being said, if there's already 50 comments in their chat about what's wrong and they're trying to troubleshoot it, it's like they kind of already know. So as a viewer, keeping in mind that we want to be helpful and not overwhelm people. And also on the streamer side, that it's okay to ask them for a check-in. I love a check-in, like, how's everything looking, right? When you change something up, when you switch your bit rate, even if you switch like ingestion servers, those are really great times to check in with chat for sure. And then tied really closely to that is reputation/professionalism, building a positive brand and showing attention to detail, creating a stream overall that is visually appealing, looks great to people who might be interested in your stream. It looks great to viewers. It looks great to sponsorship opportunities. It looks great when you're sending someone to your content. So really being cognizant of what's going on the screen as a whole is really important when you're thinking about putting your best foot forward. I'm going to tap in Owen to talk a little bit about how video and on-screen elements can really increase engagement.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've wrapped it up beautifully, to be honest. Like, I think the audio, as we've said, is a really easy deterrent for people. If you've got like a very peaky or staticky microphone, people are going to find it difficult to click into what you're doing. More so over if the video is really low resolution or crunchy bitrate. But that being said, once you've got a good microphone sorted, one of the things that I would, if you're kind of starting out and you're not sure, maybe your GPU can't be pushed to its limit, it's trying to encode your video input, you're trying to play, depending on what game you're playing, it's always better to scale back on the quality of the game that you're playing over lowering the frame rate. If you've got maybe 15 frames per second because you're playing Minecraft with some incredibly ultra bright shaders, or you're trying to play like Skyrim cranked up to the max quality, people will enjoy the very pretty slideshow that you're showing, but more importantly, will they want to see a 60 frames per second plus input. Basically, you're trying to, if you can't go for the gold standard of what all of the things that we're discussing today are, you're trying to give as much information to the viewer so that they can fill in the rest of it. So in terms of like having good audio so they can understand based off of your cues what's happening. Likewise, with whatever game you're playing, having a higher frame rate over higher quality is always the way to go.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree 100%. And I can like really second that because I just built a brand new PC last year and she's absolutely stunning, gorgeous, amazing, right? Love her. But my old PC was very old and not completely unusable. And she's like a little old faithful, but that was just like my reality while I was building my new PC, and I just dropped the quality of the game. That's really, really good advice. It's not the end of the world. It was like a period of time in which I was building my new PC. And also, being transparent with your community can go a long way. If you're having struggles like with your internet, or you are trying to figure something out on stream, letting them know what challenges you're facing can, one, increase that empathy so that they understand what you're going through. It can also, maybe there's someone in there who would love to help you level up your stream, level up your quality. It's great to set a community goal, right? Maybe that's through bits or tips or something, or putting all your subs towards something and then unboxing that and sharing that with your community and letting them know that they were a part of that. Those are great ways to lean on your community for support and let them know what's going on, right? People, once again, like with everything, I was talking a lot about sponsorships recently internally about creator camp things, and we were talking about like if you don't pitch yourself to game companies or let them know that you're interested in their game, they will not know. They can't know. So they really only know about what you shared with them. So feel free to share some of your challenges with your community and lean on them for support. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the where can we improve video. So once again, we're not talking about suggesting that you buy a new camera or, pursue something different. We're just suggesting that you can improve your audio with what you have. And so getting started with that would be settings. What would be your recommendations for how they can improve, where rather they can improve their audio, their video? And what would you say is like the most important? Like what stands out to you as something that would be important?
The lighting by far, I think, is going to be one of the most important things. having a light source that is behind the camera or behind the monitors that is shining on your face, rather than having one in the background. Lighting doesn't have to inherently just mean lighting yourself. You've got like the key light, you've got the fill light to get rid of any kind of shadows, and then basically trying not to have any kind of harsh shadows in the background, but also try not to have any light sources that are shining directly into the camera will help you out massively. Sometimes improving your lighting will give you better results with the camera that you have than if you had just gone to get a good camera. Say you're using a webcam and you're like, well, I clearly need some kind of like high fidelity Canon camera or something like that. More likely you need to take a moment to be deliberate with the lighting that you have. And likewise, you can't see it in this frame here, but if you've got a background which is very busy, such as myself, you can help break up your forefront, like yourself, the subject, and the background by using lighting of different color in order to kind of cause that separation. So I've got purple lights in the background. They used to be orange until I kind of took a moment with chat and was like, chat, I feel like if I'm orange and the background's orange and I'm wearing orange and there's an orange on the mic stand, I feel like I'm getting lost a little bit here. So we tried to go for like the antithesis of orange and kind of go off the opposite of it. And that helped massively as well. So
I think that's a great call. Is it that the complementary color of orange on the color wheel, right?
So, or at least it's very close, I think.
Yeah, I think they are. They're opposites, right? And so that's a great thing. We won't be able to dive into that today, but I know in a previous Creator Camp session in TwitchCon Rotterdam, we talked about the psychology of colors, and it is something you can definitely think about, right? Having contrast between you and your background is an awesome call out. And even just like thinking about your background, really what we're trying to suggest is that you have purpose. So when you put things in the background of your stream, it's not just like a jumble of things. There's been some forethought into what's going on there. Maybe you paint miniatures and you want to show them off, right? Maybe you're an artist of some kind and you want to fill that. Maybe you're like me, and in my other setup, I just have my favorite stuffies that represent all the games I like to play, like a Goomba and an owlbear from Baldur's Gate 3 and like some sea creatures for Raft. Like, you know, have it represent you. Speaking of background with purpose, this is a bit of an aside, but this was the coolest idea ever. So one of my favorite streamers, her name's Pika Peach. She streams a lot of Destiny and she does hosting for Destiny too. She did this thing for Easter where she hid Easter eggs in the background of her stream. So she has this shelf and it's full of plants and stuffies and all this cool stuff and like Destiny memorabilia. And she hid them in there and they were really hard to see, but you could see them. And then chat got to spend all day guessing. And if they correctly identified one of 10 eggs, they would get a prize. And it was so cool. I thought, like, what a great way to utilize a background in a just a fun way and spice things up, make them fun for your viewer. It's such a cool idea. It's definitely something that I now have in my brain that I thought, wow, what a really fun thing. What a cool thing that we could incorporate. So definitely have purpose, be intentional, and be smart about your background. I definitely second the call out for lighting. Yeah. You know, I'm going to say this too, is that like, while I have a key light in my other setup, it's incredible. It makes things so easy. It's so smooth. It's great to set up. I control it from my computer. Love that, right? I'm not in that setup right now. So I'm going to be real with you. I'm using this like, I don't know, $20 ring light and like a lamp. And I took the lampshade off the lamp to get the right lighting. And that's the reality, right? That's the reality of content creation, about things not always coming across super perfect and super polished. That's normal. It's totally okay. And sometimes it's great to hear about the stories and the situations that we're in, because it just brings some like humility to all of it, and that we're all just working with what we have and we're doing our best. And taking what you have and using it is definitely a great way to enhance your stream and move ahead with where you are. Let's segue a little bit. Yes.
If you don't mind, just jumping off of the back of what you said, if you don't mind me using the current setup that you have as an example, what you couldn't achieve in lighting and the tech that you have at your disposal, we basically tweaked in post. So we were adding post filters, basically making you a little bit warmer, sorting out the white balance, sorting out the hues. So whatever you can't do with the tech that you have around you, such as the lights or the camera, you can push it that a little bit further with OBS's or whatever broadcasting system you have. You can always tweak It might get a little bit technical depending on the kind of camera you have. For example, I have a DSLR, so when I needed to change the warmth of the camera because it was looking a little bit too warm, that's something that I went into the camera to do, so I didn't have to touch it with OBS. But there are always options for those that are willing to go and look out for them.
That's a huge call out as well, right? So we kind of do what we can to manipulate things like physically, and then we do what we can to manipulate things in the settings. And game is your friend. When I was like a starting streamer, I really wish I would have like invested more time into like improving my video quality, but I didn't. And so when I would start streaming, it would get like darker and darker because it would get later and later at night, and I would like slowly turn grayer and grayer. And I look back at that and I'm like, wow, a lot of people still watch that content, right? Because like I said, people are watching the stream for you, whether you are gray like an alien or, you know, whatever color you're supposed to be, they're there for you. But that being said, we can always work to improve what we have going on in stream for sure. Yeah, definitely using what you have is a great call out. Okay, let's talk about, where are we? So we've talked about our settings, our lighting, and our background. And we talked a little bit about how, but let's talk a little bit more about like how we can take what we have and improve it, and like what we should think about. Something I really like to look at when I go to a stream is what's the overall view of the stream. So I like to look at all parts of my stream. So everything from the starting soon screen to the screen where I'm bigger and I talk to everyone, to the screen where the game is on there. Like, what's the overall view of the video? Like, how does it look? Is it easy to see my gameplay? Is it easy to see like have you ever done the thing? Oh, and we like to play community games in my stream. We like that one where the chat has to guess the word. Is it words on stream? Is it words on stream?
I think it is called words on stream, yeah.
Yeah, we love that. And so I have this scene where I have like my big main talking scene where it's me and my chat is scrolling on the screen. But then I have an in-between one where I used to use it all on Destiny. We would be flying into like a PvP match. So I'm bigger because we don't need to have the focus on just the game screen because nothing's happening. And sometimes I forget to switch the screen, but you need the whole screen to see when you are playing words on stream. So then they're like, I can't see. And I was like, oh my gosh, sorry. So then I switched scenes, right? And so now it's like me, I'm small in the corner and the words on stream is like big, right? Amazing, awesome. But then it was my birthday this week. And so we were getting rated. And then the alert box was like, not normally, I would not say it's too big normally, but if you've ever played words on stream, you have like, I don't know, like 3 minutes maybe to like guess all of these words. And then the alert box was like covering up all the words, but I didn't know that it was covering up the words because I was looking at the words on stream, like screen, because I was trying to guess words. Yeah, like I was trying to guess the words, so I didn't. So then I looked over, and the whole chat was like, "We can't see, we can't see." And then we lost the round. So you know,
that's one of them really niche examples. Like where you as a streamer, when you're building all your scenes, at no point do you stop to consider like, okay, so what happens if I get a raid while I'm in words on stream, and how is that going to affect the broadcast? That's a hard lesson to learn.
Like, listen, I never foresaw that. Like, I've had the same alert box size for like, my God, I'm talking like probably 6 or 7 years. I have not changed the size of it. So anyway, because then the other thing too is then I was getting gifted subs, right? And then it like was trying to acknowledge like every single gifted sub because once again it was my birth. Anyway, I figured it out and we just moved it to the side, but it was very funny. So watching your VOD and like keeping an eye on the screen and what stream looks like while it's live is a great idea. You know, we want to know what things look like in all parts of our stream because it could look totally fine when you switch to your main game screen, and then it could be your birthday and you could get gifted subs and it could be not so fine. So it's a great idea to keep an eye on that. And just a huge shout out in chat to Gahik. I'm so sorry about your name. They say, make sure you export backups of your OBS. Yeah, 100%. I use Slobs, and part of the reason is because when I switch locations, Slobs just remembers all of the layouts that I have. So as soon as I sign in, it has everything. I don't need to take anything with me. I absolutely love it. But having a backup of that is absolutely a good idea because I'm not sure if you guys have experienced this, but I've had my scenes deleted and had to restart them. And it is so horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Okay. What about you, Owned? Let's look at like about the overall view of the stream. What stands out to you? Like, what do you think about when you're looking at visually how your stream's coming across?
Yeah, chat will know that I'm quite minimalist. So as time has gone on, I've really tried to pull back on as much stuff as possible. I really want to try and make it basically just the chat, my gameplay, my face cam, and then I have a very small, just like nameplate at the bottom of my face cam, which even used to be bigger, and I kind of ended up cropping more and more of it out. That's personally just to my taste. There's absolutely nothing wrong if you want to go and have a style where the gameplay is embedded in a larger scene, like a larger frame of sorts, and then you've got a face cam that has everything around it, and maybe chat isn't just like a small text as it might be appearing for you in some streams, but it's actually a little bit more floral and has like a bunch of stuff happening. It's all down to the kind of broadcast that you're going to want to be creating. This is actually a bit more the fun stuff as we move away from the technical side of things. You can curate that space to be whatever you want it to look like. I will note that there's a thing there saying desktop versus mobile. Twitch has a lot of support and recently has started kind of adding more and more to be able to format your broadcast to be able to be fitted for mobile viewing, such as in vertical or landscape. I believe that we've just gotten access over this year to having clips basically be like auto-rendered, ready for short-form content with your sources kind of all neatly lined up. I believe just at TwitchCon, you might need to correct me here, Snackless. Just at TwitchCon this year, I feel like wasn't there an announcement saying that we were having multi-stream capability to be able to have different formats streamed from the same broadcasting software? Chat might need to fact check me on this.
That's a very good question. We might, yeah, I think we need to double check that fact check because that sounds familiar to me, but I don't have it on my brain, so I cannot confirm.
There was a lot happening at TwitchCon.
Deny that. I know, but I feel like you're onto something there, so we can definitely maybe check into that and then get back to you on that. But yeah, those are definitely great calls.
Correct. Oh, great, cool.
Excellent.
Twitch is saying it. Right. Good.
Good job.
Glad I didn't make that up.
Twitch having our back. GG,
Thanks,
Twitch.
Good job. Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, that's great. Amazing. Awesome. Okay. So in summary, video is something that we should really think about and is something that can enhance the quality of our streams in many different ways. And these are just a few of the things that we can talk about. But really quickly before we move on, video can also be used as an engagement tool. People are watching your stream for a variety of reasons. One of them is that they want real-time engagement, right? That's the difference between you and watching a YouTube video. They want to type in chat. They want to see your reaction to things. They want some interactions. They want to be able to ask questions. Lean into utilizing video and your chat combined together to increase engagement and encourage discussions, like respond to subs and bits, ask silly questions, say silly things, hit cool shots if you are a Fortnite or like a PUBG streamer. Make sure you provide opportunities for your stream to increase their engagement and their interactivity while relying on your video. And
just as a
yes.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I've seen a few questions that have been popping up. We are going to be taking any of the questions that have been happening throughout these segments, and then we'll be able to answer all of those at the end. So if you do have any questions that are anything that's on your mind about any of the topics that we're covering, feel free to throw them into chat. And hopefully at the time, we will probably won't have time to go through all of them, but we will kind of start sifting through and looking for ones that we want to answer.
Awesome. Yes. Excellent call. This is the Q&A session at the end, and we would love to do our best to answer questions. And if we don't know, guess what? Twitch knows. So someone here will do their best to answer you. And let's go into the last segment of our show today, which is setting up your stream. So basically combining that audio and video together. Strong stream layouts effectively balance and blend together aesthetics and function to enhance your stream without overwhelming the screen. Visually appealing designs, clear focus on the main content, and easy to see essentials are key things to think about. We are going to talk about considerations for setting up your stream. So now we've talked about in detail about audio, why it's important, what we think about, how we should view it. We've also talked about video in the same way, why it's important, what we should think about, what we should prioritize. And now we're going to talk about tying those things together into bringing a stream that looks stellar. So what should we think about when setting up a stream? Owen, what stands out to you? What are some like overarching topics or things that you feel like are really important when you think about that topic?
I think an easy win in terms of considerations when you're setting up is trying to take into consideration what you're going to be streaming that day and where your camera is in placement to the graphics that you're going to be showing behind the screen. We've seen the fact that some games like Words on Stream have quite critical information that need to be seen by chat in order to be appreciated fully. And so taking that moment to think, okay, well, where's my chat popping up? Where am I going to be popping up? I've mentioned King of the Castle. That's a game which has a lot of different assets across the entire stream, and chat needs to be able to see all of them in order to be able to play. But the developers have nestled in a small corner where you can kind of move yourself down into. So a lot of games will be taking that into consideration when they're being created and knowing that ahead of time. And it changes per game because sometimes, you know, I might be playing Minecraft and it doesn't really matter where my camera is, but then I might be in something like an MC, like Minecraft Championship Twitch Rivals, and suddenly the scoreboard is on the right-hand side of the screen where my camera usually is. And so taking those moments to then move that, and you can do it on the fly, but knowing ahead of time will kind of keep that downtime. Same for things like chat and alerts, always helpful to understand the placement of those in regards to where you are.
Excellent call out. Absolutely huge. Knowing that you can change things if you need to change them. You know, it doesn't matter if you've always had things in the same place. If you need to change them, that's totally okay. And speaking of that, if you have your camera on screen, this is like a very simple thing, but sometimes I see a lot. Make sure that you're turned into what's going on stream. So if you put your camera on like the right side, make sure then that you're turned into the left side so that you're like angled into what's going on instead of like this, because it's like the same, but now I'm the wrong way. So you can do that by like shifting your camera. There's even, if you go into your camera settings, you can just like flip your camera back and forth, but that's like a very simple thing, but definitely something that can help when we're talking about that. I mean, you're definitely talking about scenes, daily push, how we can improve the setup of our scenes and what to think about. So that was definitely some great call outs from Owen there as well. I would also think about your different scenes and think about the purpose of them. So what's the main content on that type of scene when you use it? So I use my main big scene where I am the largest and the chat is on the screen for just chatting, because the chat is on the screen and the whole premise is so that people can interact with me. And when I'm playing a game, I have to think, okay, what is the focus of this? It's a combination. So then I move myself to the bottom screen, I switch scenes, and the gameplay is the largest part of that. And so for me, I'm looking at that thinking, okay, this is the main purpose of this time. And don't forget to switch your scenes as you jump around during your stream. I'm sure we've all had that where I'm like, chat, look at this. Sometimes we talk about snacks because I'm in fact snackless. And I'll be talking about my favorite Canadian snacks. And they're like, we can't see that. And I'm like, right, roger that. I did not, in fact, change the scene, and I will do that for you. So thinking about the focus and being strategic, like Owen mentioned about the add-ons, is definitely something that we want to talk about. And Owen also talked about like captions and transcriptions earlier. Another tap into accessibility, inclusivity is thinking about contrast. That applies to all aspects of your stream, channel points, emotes, chat colors, anything on stream, thinking about light and dark. And even as Owen was saying, you versus your background, can you see things easily? Is it easy to read things? When you have your alerts pop up, if there's text, can you read it? Like, is it legible, or is it blending in the background of what you've got going on? Those are definitely things to think about as well. Anything else that they should think about for setting up their stream, Owen? Like anything else that kind of like a zoomed out view when we're designing a layout, what stands out?
I think the color thing that you mentioned is a really good shout out. I think knowing when to have something on screen and when to not. So this is a little bit specific, but I'm sure chat can extrapolate it outwards. For Minecraft, we sometimes have like more serious lore moments where the story is really driving the content of the stream. In those moments, we often choose to omit the chat and the alerts. Sometimes you'll even pause the Twitch alerts on one side so that you can thank all of them afterwards. So knowing like if you're going to be going up to a particularly important part, maybe you've been playing a game on stream for the past, I don't know, like year, and you're getting into the finale, knowing maybe like, okay, maybe I'll actually pause alerts just for the time being, and then I'll unpause them afterwards to stop any kind of like loud jump scare noises while you're in a really somber moment. unless you kind of want to try and get content like that. That is a good shout. And finally, I'd say, I don't know if this is on Streamlabs OBS, but for OBS, if you are currently in a scene and you are unsure about what another scene might look like, a lot of people see the button called studio mode, but don't really know how to, like, what happens when you click it. It's a lot less scary than it seems. Basically, if you click on studio mode, you'll have what chat sees, and then you'll pull up a kind of explorer window of the software so that you can change between scenes and change what is on those scenes without chat moving off of them. So for example, if you've got like an Among Us lobby set up, and you're like, oh, I didn't add my like Among Us code blocker to the bottom of the screen, you can go to full cam, turn to studio mode, go back to the Among Us scene, add that little source at the bottom to cover it up so that the code isn't there, and then going back. I might be aging myself here because maybe they added a blocker now in Among Us, but back when I used to play it, that wasn't there. So
that
studio mode is your friend.
Also, Jackbox, same thing, right? Anytime you have a secret code on stream, you know, I'm all about just telling everybody, but I don't think you should do that. So do what Owen does and definitely cover that up. Stay safe on stream. Make sure you know who's jumping in lobbies with you. Let's talk about the little last section of this. We have a cool example to show you about different, we're getting a lot of questions in chat on like, how many layouts should I have? Like what makes a good layout? What's going on? So we have some examples that we can share with you, and they show a variety of different layouts with different purposes. So questions to ask yourself when you look at these are, what is the goal or focus of the scene? So in some of these, you can see that the focus is completely on the streamer. They're doing just chatting. Or in others, you can see that the focus is in fact on the game and what is going on there. For some of these people, they also have a focus on goals. So you can see Big Cheese has goals set up big on their screen because that is a focus for them. Whereas you can see on Mav's show, there are none. She's just got alerts popping up. And Owen, I think, was running a subathon. And so that's really important because they've got a countdown going on. And you can see what it looks like in real time of like an alert popping up on their screen. And so what I'm showing these examples because there isn't a solution, a one size fits all. You can create a scene that suits you, your stream, your community, and your goals, and you can always change them. Sometimes what I do as a trick is if I have a scene that I like as a base, I duplicate it and then I make changes on it. So whenever I have like a charity stream and I want to shift things a little bit, I will do that so that I don't mess up like the main scene that I've created. And things that I think about are like, what size am I going to be on each side, on each scene? What's the angle going to be? Am I going to use my green screen or not? And do I want chat on the screen? Those are some of the things that I think about when I'm like mucking around with my different scenes. What about you, Owen? What do you think about? What are like the main points that you want to think about when you are arranging a scene?
Yeah, when I'm kind of trying to figure out the composition, most of the time, like I mentioned, because I'm a little bit more minimalist, in fact, the juiceathon is probably the time when I have the most information on screen with those two numbers in the top left. Thankfully, I've got a lot less. I've made my job a little bit easier by having less things to work with. Cheese down there has a lot of stuff going on, but he's managed to make it digestible and easily understandable so that it doesn't feel like you're getting overwhelmed. I think using that kind of border, which is darker than the main part of the game, is a really great idea to kind of accentuate that the gameplay is the main focus. But he also buys himself a lot of real estate for things like the sub goals, the viewers, the followers, all that, by being able to have that not be overlaid over on the screen. Also not related, but as an aside, I'm loving my reaction because I'm saying like, gifted again, as if it's like a bad thing, but it's because I've been stuck there for days. So I'm like, instead of going like my normal, thanks so much for the gifted, I'm like, gifted again, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. As if like I haven't been stuck there for weeks.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah. I mean, it's exactly part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of the fun. I also like exactly. I love on Big Cheese's stream as well. This is a great example of what I was talking about, of facing in versus facing out. It would look really bizarre if you took his camera and you just like reversed it. It would look really weird. So that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Say stuff like that. You'll have noticed even when we started, that was a great call out to say flipping the camera. There will be some chatters who go like, oh, it's weird. You look weird because you're like flipped differently to how you should be. You just got to go. It's more important to have you facing the center of the screen than it is to, I don't know, have the OwengeJuiceTV sign in the background be legible for a certain 100%. Part of it. So yeah, definitely go for it.
Exactly. Also, chat's not always right. Okay, chat, you're not always right. You're right most of the time. Okay, like today when you're muted, you could say you were right in that time, but Just forever being bothered by our chats. Okay, amazing. I hope that these layouts were helpful in giving you some visuals and some things to think about. I saw another question that we were getting frequently. So before we jump into Q&A, I'm going to answer that. A lot of questions about like how many scenes is enough? Like, how do I know? It's whatever suits you best. For me personally, I have a countdown screen. I have a big version of me where I'm like doing just chatting. I have the one where I've referenced where it's me and there's part of a screen showing. So it's great when there's something going on in stream, but I want us both to be the focus. And then I have my main screen. In addition to that, I also use a be right back scene as well as an ending scene. And to be honest, they're actually the exact same. One just says be right back and one says thanks for watching. It's a great example of duplicating a scene and using what you have and reusing it. For me, I didn't need something different for that. For other people, I've seen like Miss Lala as a VTuber, one of our Twitch ambassadors, and she has this whole incredible, amazing like countdown and like scenes of her doing different things and like flying around. It's absolutely incredible. And it makes me aspire to want to have that one day, but I don't right now, and that's totally okay. So I stick with what I have and I just use what works. So the name of the game is kind of use what works and improve as you go. So let's dive into our Q&A session. I'm going to let Owen get started with our first Q&A session. We will do as many as we can. Please feel free to keep popping them in the chat and we will start working through them.
Absolutely. This question comes from Dali. Hi, Dali. Would you recommend custom sounds for your brand, or do you use free online ones? Do you feel like those work even though they're not personalized? I think, I mean, Dali, you've seen personally in a first-hand experience, for the first maybe 3 or 4 years of for the first year of my Twitch career, I basically just did the default sounds that were available. Then I decided like, okay, Stardew Valley's music is copyright free on Twitch. It's licensed to be able to be used. Thank you very much, Concerned Ape, for that, which also means all of the sound effects that are being used by that are also available. So I went and found them online and then just keyed up every single one of my alerts to be some kind of Stardew Valley sound effect, and chat really liked that because it was a sound that they really enjoyed, and it fit the vibe of the community. So if you want to use the games that are available in terms of copyright, then I absolutely would recommend. It also helps if you're playing that game a lot. Let's say you're like a Stardew one, or maybe like a Link player or Mario Kart 1, using sound effects from there might be a good shout, depending on what's available. But as you grow, you might want to move into a more personalized vibe. As I think we've mentioned last episode, I eventually ended up commissioning a composer to make all of the riffs of all of the sound effects personalized. And while that does mean that the stream has a certain feel more to it for the Juice Cafe, that doesn't mean that you have to do that. Like, you can do the gameplay sound effects.
Yeah, absolutely. Great call out. I'm going to take one from chat, actually, and it is from Isabella Gotcha. The question's more of a setup question. Is there a specific amount of time where you have to get a new gaming laptop or PC? I've had my current gaming laptop for about 6 years and it's getting slow. That is exactly what happened to me. My PC made it 9 years. I did upgrade a few things along the way, so she wasn't in her OG version. And I kind of came to the realization last spring that I would have to like build a new PC. There isn't a set amount of time when you know that, but when you can no longer run your stream smoothly or run the things that you would like to run on your stream smoothly, it's a good time to upgrade. And so luckily I know, right? 9 years. I actually thought it was 10, but it's not. It was 9 years. So actually, fun fact, I'll tell you a little secret. I'm actually streaming on her right now because I'm not at my main streaming location. And look at her. She's doing so good. I'm so proud of her. It's just, you can upgrade as you go. Like I mentioned, I am on my 3rd PC. My first one was a used PC I bought from some gamer guy, and I just scrubbed her down with Lysol wipes, and then I built my first PC, and I was so proud of her. And then I transitioned to my new PC, which is what I'm normally on, and my God, is she stellar. And how exciting was that? It was such a cool accomplishment, but it just goes to show that it's a journey and you can make changes as you go. I pushed my old PC to the limit. I kept upgrading things as I went until it was more cost efficient to just build a new one. And that's okay. But yeah, 9 years, I know, right? It's actually, this is the name of the game is Some Gamer Guy. It was literally Some Gamer Guy. So maybe I should have like a million years ago been like, hi, I'm a Twitch streamer, but I was too shy at the time. So instead, I graciously took the PC and ran, and now look at us now. But yeah, exactly. You can use your setup for as long as you can or as little as you're ready to upgrade. Whatever suits you best is always going to be the best path to move ahead with.
I've got a question here from KT Vey. Are we allowed, I like the beginning of it. Are we allowed to mention Streamlabs versus OBS, or is Twitch Studio the primary middleman software? As if we're going to like descend
we'll
on you.
Run for your life.
For anyone not understanding what the question is, you've got Twitch Studio, which is a like Twitch proprietary piece of broadcasting software. You've got Streamlabs OBS, which is sort of a hybrid between the Streamlabs company and the OBS broadcasting software. And then you've got OBS Studio, or OBS, which is just open broadcast software. I think I have used every single one. In fact, I have. I started on the Twitch software because they take a lot of the, I think a lot of people sleep on it, to be honest. If you're starting out, the first VOD, if you go back again in the highlights, you'll see it's done on the Twitch broadcast software. And that's because they abstract a lot of the information that I personally would have found too difficult to understand when I was starting out, and hide it behind a layer of information that you don't need to worry about if you're just getting started. So I just wanted to play Minecraft on a really insane difficulty with a really insane challenge and just put it out there in the world. And I didn't much care for the assets that I used or the functionality that was available in the software that I used. Eventually then I did move to Streamlabs OBS. And I was going to die on that hill. I was going to be like, no, I'm never going to OBS. I'm always going to be on slobs. Eventually, I think my computer got so tired that it couldn't even really stream in a reliable way. And somebody suggested, hey, try OBS instead of slobs, just because it's slightly less intensive than the CPU.
That is true. That is a fact.
You use slobs, right?
Yeah, I do. But when this PC, okay, well, it would be so nice to her. When my lovely little lady, aging lady, was like having trouble, that was a thing too, is like slobs is definitely intensive for your PC to run compared to OBS. So my new PC, she can do anything. I mean, she can practically fly. She's incredible. But this little lady, yeah, it's, you know, once again, it's kind of like if you try something and you need to adjust it, that's totally okay, right? You don't have to be super sold on something just because you've always used it. Switch things up. If something isn't working in your stream, you can change it, right? It's totally okay to do things in a different way. Okay, I had a great question. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is from Keith Can. Do you have to put chat overlay on the video? No, you can do literally whatever you like, when you like it, how you like it. Sometimes in just chatting streams, especially, it's nice to have them on the screen. If you like the look of that, then try it out. You can also ask your chat, do you enjoy seeing that? Some people really like typing in chat and having their name pop up on screen. So even if they can't, you know, gift bits or subscribe or something, then they can show up on the screen in some way. And that's one way that they can do that. For me, I utilize that on one of my scenes. Owen, what about you? I know I had it in your subathon clip. Do you use chat on screen in all of your scenes?
Pretty much every single one, yeah. The only one that I don't have it on is one called Minecraft-Lore, which is when things are getting really serious and we've got to like lock in on the story aspect of it. But no, yeah, I pretty much have it on all the time, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. All right, Owen, just go for it.
Yeah, I do want to just jump in as well. I'm showing how long I've been in this game here because I've now realized that Twitch Studio is no more. So it's slobs or OBS or a different one of your choice if you wish to go for it.
Yes.
5 years ago it was there and something happened between then and now. So just to flag that to everybody. Let me see. I saw somebody say where to get overlays. I mean, there's
that's a great question.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways. You could make your own if you're feeling particularly artistic. You could try and find an artist somewhere online to commission them if you want to get something that's personalized to you. If you type in free broadcast overlays or free Twitch overlays, you might be able to find some PNGs or some assets or some templates that you can go for. Usually with those sites, you have like a bunch of free options and then like more suave ones, which you can pay a premium for. In the name tag that I have underneath my name in any Twitch stream is one that I got from a free template service right from the beginning. I just basically took it. It was just an orange bar, and I added OwengeJuiceTV in a font that I like the look of. So you don't need to go, like, if you're just starting out, you don't need to put down a crazy budget in order to get a crazy overlay. You can find free ones online, and they might serve you the distance.
Yeah. Vin100FR in chat says, is it really necessary to have a camera source while showing the game you're playing when you start streaming? No, it's just chatting with audio could work out. Absolutely. Tons of people stream without a camera. Also, can I introduce the idea of like a PNG tuber, a VTuber? You can set up your stream in any way that you like. You can have yourself on the screen. You can have yourself not on the screen. I would recommend having some level of interactivity, right? So if you don't have a video, having voice and then interacting with chat is definitely something I would recommend, but you can do literally whatever you like. I have another great one, if I can do 2 in a row.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
I have, is this a test? What, saying all of these names? I'm so sincerely sorry if we say your name incorrectly. Thymie Blue says, how much on-stream activity is a good indicator? Consider building a community space, for example, a Discord server. Anytime, immediately, start today. But actually, people who want to watch your stream, it doesn't really matter. If you have 3 CCV and you have the same 3 people and they come to every stream, it's because they like you. They like you and your content. They want to interact with you. Giving them a Discord space is a great idea. There's not some sort of like secret level that we recommend people unlock before they can progress something, before they're like, oh, should I like make a Twitter handle, an Instagram handle? No, do it today. People who want to spend time with you and want to support you are going to be there. And then you get to end up in this situation where like, I have some of my subscribers are coming up on 100 months of subscription, and it's because you give them that opportunity at the very beginning, and then they're able to continue supporting you in a way that suits them. So go for it. Go get them and bring them in. Okay, let's take. There are so many incredible questions. Let's take 1 or 2 more, for sure. One, and then we'll see.
Okay, Run It Up Luke says, does my mic get muted if I play YouTube music without showing YouTube? So it's not the showing the YouTube that's getting your VOD muted, it's the audio that you're piping through from YouTube. So if a piece of music is not royalty free and you don't own the license to it, Twitch is going to retroactively mute that section of your VOD in order to protect you from copyright claims and to uphold the copyright laws. If your mic is being used, basically any of the audio from that section is going to be muted as well. There is if you have a certain mixer, you can split your mic and your music audio so that if you're recording from your broadcasting service, then you'll still have your mic retain in the file, but the music won't be able to be used in pretty much anywhere in the online space because you won't have had the license to it. So that's why if you're going back and your mic is being muted, that's why.
Yeah. Okay, great call out. Just be very careful. Even if you do reroute your audio, there is a risk there, and you can mitigate that and discover what suits you best. There is a whole section on copyright and audio, video, etc. on our Creator Camp website on Twitch. So if you're looking for more specifics, there's lots of examples in there and information that can help you kind of navigate that. And so for our very last question from oh my good Lord, from KT Vi, I'm so sorry. What should I do for my first subathon? Once again, literally anything that you like. I'm going to use this opportunity to have Owen and I share what we've done in the past to encourage people to participate and make things really fun. Things I have done. Write everybody's name on cutout apples and put it on a board behind me to display their name. Thing number 2, changed my alerts to something really funky, clunky, super cute, so that when people participated in the subathon, there was like a fun thing. Done a fun giveaway, like, hey, I will buy you dinner and play games with you. We call them snack dates. I usually only do them for charity, but I did have one of those, and they could be a part of the raffle for it if they participated in the subathon. Basically, what I'm saying is ways that encourage viewers to participate, reward them for participating, and show them that they're valued are definitely things that are going to get people to jump into things. What about you, Owen? What have you done that is unhinged or normal to have people participate in your subathon?
At Christmas time, or even during the subathon this year, we have a very cursed looking rat called Brumbo. He's like a Christmas decoration.
Sorry, this is different than Bruno.
Yeah,
Bruno,
he's the
so
evil
this is
version
Brumbo.
of Bruno. This is Brumbo. And throughout Christmas, leading up to the end of Christmas, he will start to appear in very obvious places at first. Like he'll be just behind me on the piano. And then sometimes he'll be hidden in such a way that it's just like the tuft of his hat is just poking out from behind something. And if somebody sees him, then we all get to celebrate their achievement of being like, you found him, good job. When I say it out loud, it really does sound unhinged. But that's part of the fun, I suppose.
I'm actually like, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? This is just like my friend Pika Peach hiding the eggs. It's like giving a fun activity for your stream in literally whatever way possible, right? Like maybe you stream, like I used to use a green screen for most of my streams, but I'm like, well, what if I hid an apple that was like 2 pixels big on the screen and then they had to find it? Like you could do anything you want in your stream. And in summary, I would say lean into things in your stream that people already like, right? In Owenge's stream, they love this mascot. They love Bruno. Brumbo is a really funny take on that, you know? For my stream, people love to be recognized, and putting apples on a board behind me was a great way to recognize them and thank them. They also love game nights, and so having a snack date was a perfect solution to that. So okay, how about like 20 pixels? You're right, 2 pixels was a little bit extreme. Good call, chat. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You know, you can come to chat and look for it. Brumbo, Gumbo, Bruno, you know. Lots of awesome ideas here. We did have more questions, but unfortunately we're going to have to wrap them up for today. I really want to thank you for asking such incredible questions and participating in our stream. It's part of what makes this show so special and so cool. We always do our very best to work through as many of them as we can. And we just want to really thank you for being a part of all of the fun. Just a reminder that this show, as well as our previous shows, are available on our YouTube channel, as well as some other really cool videos that we've made for Creator Camp. So definitely check them out. And it was my birthday this week, and it would be so super cool if it was on Monday. It would be so super cool, chat, if you checked out the Creator Camp site new update. I read all the comments under Creator Camp for user voice, and I love to hear feedback about that. So if anything's missing, if you loved anything, if you even took time to check it out, I'd love to hear about it. It would be super awesome. I think the content's really fun. You might even see some people this way. Whoops. In reverse, some people that you know. So check it out if you have a moment. The content there is awesome. It's completed its update, and we're going to be sharing that across socials next week. So that is in fact a secret, chat. Okay, don't tell them that I told you. Okay, just like last week was not last week. Last month was a test when Owen and I told you all those secrets and you kept them. That was super slay. Okay, so make sure you keep this one too. And a huge thank you to Owenge Juice for being my co-host. Owenge, where can they find you? What kind of unhinged awesomeness can they look forward to when they come to your stream?
Yes, if you want more rat-related content, then you can find me on any platform on OwengeJuiceTV. We do usually Minecraft, and then for some reason, a large majority of it is even about rats. I don't know how that happened, but it's the camp I've made for myself. So I'm gonna, hey, it just happens, you know, oranges and rats. But thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to be here again. No, I'm locked in now. They love him too much. I can't remove him. Thank you for having me again. It's been really good to be here.
Oh, so wonderful to have you again. Now it feels like I need something. Like I've got apples and snacks, but like, you know, I'm gonna mull this over. You know, next year I'm gonna pop up and I'm gonna have a new mascot. Okay, it's gonna be I don't know, apples and whoopers. You know, I don't know, something definitely cool. Make sure you follow Owenge Juice and follow this channel as well if you want to catch up with our next stream. We are going to round things out by rating our Twitch ambassador Kelpsy today. Thank you so much for being a part of our stream. A massive thank you to our producers and production behind the scenes. We really appreciate everything you do to keep this stream with audio on and smooth transitions and moving along just as we intended. So thank you again so much. Thank you again to Owenge for being my co-host today on this awesome show. Thank you for watching and have the very best Thursday ever. Bye.